Nobody believed in them. Most hated. Caitlin's out injured. What happens? Belt to ass. The Indiana Fever are your 2025 Commissioner's Cup champions, and they take home that $500,000. Natasha Howard, before the season, many of us roundly mocked the idea that she would win some type of MVP award this year. Well, she has the last laugh now, as she was named the MVP with 16 points and 12 rebounds. And man, what a incredible game for the Indiana Fever. The first real sign of winning for this team in the Caitlin Clark era. Caitlin Clark did not play this evening, still going through the day-to-day with the groin injury, and the team stepped up in her absence, and every player seemed to make their own contribution to winning. And it was like, if you can hang with the Minnesota Lynx and beat them by 15 on their home court without Caitlin Clark, when she comes back, I know the record says 9-8 right now, or 8-8. This team can compete with anybody. Do not be fooled by the record. The defensive unit that was unlocked tonight with Colson, McDonald, Cunningham, Howard, and Boston gave Minnesota so many problems. Minnesota seemed to have every single one of their shots rim out. They missed a lot of shots, but they were also getting guarded up. From that second quarter on, the Indiana Fever just seemed to control the game. They fell down early to start, and it was not looking good. It was 27-14. And then from there, I guess the Fever found it within themselves like, hey, you know, nobody's coming to save us. Caitlin's not coming off the bench. If y'all going to get it done, it has to be the people that are out there. And then they just started turning the tide. I don't know what happened. It was crazy because the Fever were falling right into the Lynx's hands in the first quarter. The Lynx were playing really good defense, especially when the Fever were trying to run their half-court sets. It just wasn't working. And then everything just changed. Nafisa Collier, atrocious shooting night. The Lynx were only really sparked by Jessica Shepard and Alana Smith. Kayla McBride also struggled from the field. But I want to talk more about the Indiana Fever and, the temperature around this team. This is the first real big win of the era for this group of players, this coach that has seen quite an up and down slate already this year. We saw the All-Star voting come out with, the lack of love for the Indiana Fever players. I think as fans now, the team, they really need to buy into this identity. Most hated. That's right. Hated by the other players, hated by the other teams, hated by the media, hated by the other fans. It is the Fever versus the world at this point. The decorum, the sisterhood, all that stuff does not matter when it comes to the Indiana Fever. And time again, they have demonstrated it. And it's only going to be nights like these where the Fever get to stick their chests out. And if you're a Fever fan, you're watching this video, celebrate. Feel good. It's been a rough year so far, but I feel like the best is still to come despite this enormous high that the Fever are on. Not everyone is going to be able to guard Caitlin Clark for 94 feet. She's not going to stay hurt forever. And as more of the team begins to round into form, with Sophie making her contributions off the bench, with Sid Colson actually looking like there's value there after I was very skeptical to begin the season, with Aliyah Boston realizing every big in the league probably hates you, with Kelsey Mitchell realizing, hey, all I got to do is be a bucket and be the player that I've been my entire life. And then Natasha Howard. The Natasha Howard ISOs during this game were putting the Minnesota Lynx in the blender. There's going to be good and bad with Natasha Howard. If she can regulate that percentage to where some of the tendencies of the ISOs that don't go correct, if she can reel that in a little bit, she is kind of a front court version of what Kelsey Mitchell brings, where she's not exactly in the offense all the time, but if things are left up to her, she can put the ball down and then get the ball on the glass somehow, maybe even grab it back and put it back in. And she is a finisher around the rim at this point in the season. I feel comfortable calling her a positive in that direction. Indiana Fever have 5 players in double figures. Ari McDonald, another start for the Fever, and just brought great intensity, brought the three-point shooting. Aliyah Boston was great tonight, even though she only scored 12, and a lot of that stuff came at the very end. She was, distributing and rebounding, and then, just guarding and really altering a lot of looks. This was not the running gun basketball that a lot of Indiana Fever fans want to see, but I feel like the Fever really just punched the Lynx in the mouth tonight, and they were like, we're gonna make this very difficult for you, and something happened to them. I know Cheryl Reeve is over there furious. If there's someone that you want to beat, especially if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, an Indiana Fever fan, Cheryl Reeve going home with a loss and looking miserable. Pump it into the veins. Sophie Cunningham went viral earlier for her comments on Detroit and Cleveland, and not so much for her comments on the CBA, which I will be diving into in another video, but she added 13 big points, 7 boards off the bench on a night where all eyes were on her. So whatever city we roll into, I expect Sophie Cunningham to really take on the role of the villain and to silence all the detractors. But 500,000, man, that's nothing to sneeze at either. The money in this league, it's not really easy to get to. The management in the league and the ownerships keep it well hidden. I thought Sid Colson was very effective in how she controlled the team in the second half, settling it down, stepping in defensively, knowing what the referees would kind of call. And this wasn't a game where the Fever allowed the referees to just take it over, and every call that went against them just was the worst thing in the world. It seemed like there was a concerted effort to stay focused, and there were a couple opportunities in the fourth where it could have went left, and then time after time they just came through. And this was, I couldn't be prouder of this team pulling out this win tonight. And, this really makes me consider I know it says they're in the 8th seed right now, but these teams aren't separated by that many games. They could easily catch fire out of this break with the additional rest for Caitlin, not pushing her tonight to suit up and play. The Indiana Fever find money, literally, with the Commissioner's Cup victory, additional rest for Caitlin, so she'll at least get another full week off and then, reevaluate from there. She's doing non-contact practices, so that gives me hope that there's, positive signs to come, whether it's, after the All-Star game or even before that. Yeah, let's take a look at the Minnesota Lynx. Bridget Carlson, 26 points. Zip. Clamped. Nafisa Collier, 6 of 18, 12 points, 9 boards. Clamped. Alana Smith had a pretty good game. I wouldn't say she was clamped, but Kayla McBride, clamped, 1 of 7. Courtney Williams and Natasha Heidemann, the Stud Buds, as they're called, on their Twitch channel. Very entertaining. They came out here and shot a combined 5 of 17. That's not going to get it done. Jessica Shepard came in and played well. Can't take anything away from her, but it wasn't enough. Lexi Hull, 2 big three-pointers, stellar defense all night. Natasha Howard, the MVP, 16 and 12, and really, when it looked like the Lynx were going to try to make a run in the third, she would just put her head down, make a move, get something off the glass, put it in, and really just give the Fever the ISO scoring besides Kelsey Mitchell. Leah Boston, 5 of 15, but, her playmaking was on full display, showing why she's so valuable to be able to adjust her game, even if it's not her night to necessarily fill up the scoreboard. Kelsey Mitchell hit, a few big shots to silence the crowd and swing the momentum a little bit, finished with 12. Erin McDonald's been a consistent 13 or 12 points every game she's played, 5 of 6, super efficient. And then, as I mentioned before, Sophie Cunningham with the 13 and 7 off the bench with the stellar D. And, you're going to see Sid Colson, and it's going to say 1 of 6, and it's going to say 3 points. I don't think the box score quite shows what she did during this game. So I would, want to salute Sydney Colson as well. And you got to give it up for Stephanie White tonight. You're going in shorthanded. You got Dantas in Brazil. You got Caitlin Clark out the lineup. And you find a way to go into the Minnesota Lynx's house, 14-2, best record in the league, undefeated at home, had not lost a game. And then you go in there and you go with a 15-point win. You get out of there at the end of the game. You got me saying belt the ass. So, Stephanie White, salute. But, the Indiana Fever is short time tonight. Anyone talking down, they got to hold it tonight. They got to push it out to another day because tonight the Indiana Fever are champions. Does this count as Caitlin's first ring? You let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. Peace. This is Rich. One lifetime. Holla at y'all.